This is everything you need to know about Minecraft as of 2024. Every update, life hack, building trick, it's all in this video. And hey, according to the YouTube gods, no one's ever subscribed to the channel using their left pinky. So if you're up to that challenge, point your 5th digit at that red sub button below. It's free, and it helps out a ton. The crafter isn't just good for futuristic robots, it's also good for futuristic doors. And by using the other faces of the block, we can orient it in such a way to get this really special door design. And I particularly love that if you look in the center of these two doors here, it even looks like there's a shadow separating the two of them. That's a really nice touch, especially for something that was never intended to be used this way. Chiseled bookshelves not only give us a new container to play around with, but also a new way to grab a redstone signal. And because they give out a different redstone signal every time that you take it from one of the different slots, if you were to take out a book and place it back into that slot, then we essentially have a 6-digit different combination lock. And then, as Ang's built it out here, once you type in any of the wrong combinations, it just closes up the door, so anyone who's not supposed to be there can't get in. And it gives us an easy way to shut it without having to type in the whole garage code again. I think both are nice. Pressure plates are great for making simple automatic doors, but the truth is what works for us can also work for evil mobs. Since here we've got a piston door that only opens up for players. It'll never open up for other mobs. The only downside is it screams at you. And see, the reason for this doesn't just come down to the Sculk sensor, but rather the Sculk shrieker. See, just using a calibrated Sculk sensor alone would detect for any movement, but we're filtering that out by using this Sculk shrieker. And at that point, it powers the note block and we're able to walk inside. Maybe just a pain to your ears. Whatever it is, it's cool by me. With the Armadillo coming to Minecraft, it's time that we give it something to eat too. And that's what this user thought when they made this termite mound for the Armadillo. But I know what you're thinking, we don't exactly have termites in Minecraft, and that's why this is so ingenious. Because by just using melon seeds inside of an invisible item frame, from far away, they look like the bugs. And I think that's just adorable. You can even rotate them to add extra character. Very nice. At first glance, these slimes look normal, until they start jumping. Since now, you can actually add the jump boost effect to slimes. And yeah, I don't really think they're coming down at this point. Villagers got a huge debuff in some of the later 1.20 updates. Since while it's true that you're able to cure a villager from a zombie villager to get a discount, it's no longer possible to cure and re-zombify that villager multiple times to get a bigger and bigger discount. Since now it only gives that big discount on the first time, which makes machines like the ones that we've shown off in the past a lot less useful. But in fairness, being able to re-zombify the same villager to get mending books down to 1 emerald apiece, yeah, that seems pretty broken. So as long as there's still some discount, I guess it's fine. Although it does unfortunately mean that this trick that we've shown off in the past to use librarian villagers to get infinite emeralds, that's no longer gonna work. Or at least it won't work on new villagers. If you have any beforehand, you'll probably be fine. Some clever players have found out how to turn these armor trims into full RGB armor. And now your player can match everything else in your house. Finally, we've got a feature from Bedrock placed into Java, which is that now if you were to go dye items that have already been dyed into a different color, we can actually change their color back. Which means you don't just need white wool to make yourself blue wool. But if your wool was already dyed red, then you can actually change the color like so, which gives you a lot more freedom for how you craft these things. And I love this feature enough when it was put in vanilla tweaks, I like it a lot better in game. Hey, even if it doesn't make logical sense, I'll overlook it this time. It could just be our little secret. Now when you beat the game and the credits start playing, you don't have to worry about missing anything. Since not only are we able to speed up the credits scrolling down the screen, but we can also scroll back up to see if you miss anything. Though, speaking of someone who's read the credits before, even if you take the time to read them, they don't help out that much anyway. You're best sticking to the escape key on your keyboard and just skipping these. Horses have never been particularly well loved in Minecraft ever since the elytra was added in. But it seems like 1.20.2 changed that. Since ever since this update, if you're riding on a mob like a horse, you'll be protected from all small mobs, like baby zombies. And then if you're riding something like a camel, then all standard sized mobs will not be able to hit you. Which it's hard to say that these are better for evading mobs than just flying away entirely, but if you're trying to move mobs on the ground floor, this is also particularly useful. And especially because with a camel, you're able to have your friend on your back. If one of you happens to get low on HP, then the other one can steer while the other one fights off the mobs. But I wouldn't get too happy just yet, since along with these changes, we also got the change that the mob is able to attack you with just the bottom of their hitbox, assuming your head's in range. And what that means is that if you have a build like a mob dropper that moves hostile mobs down to here, then you probably had to readjust it because of this update just to stay safe. And so if you wondered why your zombie grinder was all of a sudden hitting you when it didn't used to, this would be why. Who knows, maybe bring a horse down there. With the new /ride command, we can have any mob placed on top of another, and the results quickly get out of hand. And if you thought spider jockeys were bad enough, then you haven't seen anything until you get to the likes of a warden jockey, or a bee jockey. Really, there's so much to play around with here, just boot it up and try it yourself. It wasn't just our background music that got different sounds in 1.20, but also our step sounds. Since now, whenever you walk on a block, it would play a step sound in all cases, which seems like it would make sense, but in the past, you wouldn't hear any sounds from your footsteps if you were walking along the edge of a block with air or fluid that was next to it. And so just tiptoeing like this, no sounds. But it's not just that we get sounds while walking next to fluids, but we also have the ability to hear sounds while we're inside of fluids, since walking on the ocean floor in this update would also produce a step sound for the block that you were stepping on at a lower volume and pitch, making it sound like it's underwater. And for an update that added in the warden and all these different sound frequencies, I think it makes sense that they also paid close attention to other sounds in the game. And when you notice it, it's hard not to appreciate it. If you've ever brought a shulker over to the overworld, or set up base in the end, then you might be aware that shulkers are able to destroy armor stands, which I've gotta say is just annoying. But nowadays, that's just no longer the case, since the shulker's sparks can no longer destroy armor stands. And the same is true for llama spit, though I've gotta say, that's a neutral mob, and it seems a lot more situational. But now you can do all the wandering trader killing that you want to, and your armor stands won't have to suffer for it. Minecraft piglins are now even more useful, since if you're able to get a charged creeper over into the nether dimension, then you could use it to kill one of the piglins and now get its head as an item drop. But how is that useful? Well, not only can you wear it, but you can also place it on top of a note block, and that'll actually have the note block play the mob sounds when you trigger it with redstone. And it's not the only mob head that can do this. In fact, all of the existing mob heads can do it here, which is gonna make creeper pranks a lot more realistic. So maybe it's a good idea to turn on your subtitles so you can at least catch this in the bottom right. Plenty of blocks when they're added to Minecraft come along with placeholder sounds. And I get it, why would you want to re-record all sounds for all the different blocks? Except now, that's no longer the case, since both sponges and wet sponges have their own custom sounds. And to put that in perspective, this is how they used to sound, and this is how they sound now. Which, I'll be honest, wouldn't be the first thing that I would hope to fix with the sponges. I mean, they're still a lot worse for draining an ocean monument than just dropping sand on it. But hey, at least for that brief time where you're using them where they don't need to be dried out, they'll at least sound unique while doing it, whatever that's worth. One of my favorite small changes that came in with Minecraft 1.20 was that Minecraft now stores chat history for commands across all worlds. And so what that would mean is that if you were using commands in one world and then went over to your test world to try it out, the last 50 commands that you had set in chat would be remembered across your entire game session. And you could just press up or down in the chat and go to where that command was. Which, speaking as people who have to use a lot of commands across a lot of different worlds to record these videos, that's a welcome change for us for sure. And if you don't just want to look through chat to find all your recent commands, it's even better worth noting that if you go inside your games folder, you can find them all stored inside of a text file called Command History. Have you ever thought of chorus fruit as scaffolding? Yeah, I can't say that I exactly have either. And apparently Mojang agrees, but only now. Since it's only in recent updates where the chorus flower can no longer provide support for hanging or standing blocks. So if you're trying to hang lanterns from your chorus flower, you're not gonna have any luck anymore. But I mean, really, just even saying that out loud, it doesn't sound like something I've ever wanted. I can't honestly say I think more about the chorus flower than harvesting it, but it was changed in 1.20.2, and I doubt they'll ever go back on this. In 1.20.2, Mojang revamped how lucky we were going to be when trying to get certain enchanted books in certain structures. And so, it turns out, if you're looking for your best chances of getting something like mending, then you'd have to go down to the ancient cities. But if you wanted efficiency enchantments, mineshafts were your best call, which I guess makes sense, and that's probably also why we have a good luck at finding quick charge inside of pillager outposts. I mean, they need it for the crossbows. Although when you start looking at what generates inside of desert and jungle temples, it seems like they were just stuck for picking one, since both of these just have a higher chance of giving us unbreaking. I mean, there's traps in both of them, maybe that's the reasoning, but with the potential changes that Mojang wants to implement for villager trading for enchanted books, where it would be harder to get certain books from certain kinds of villagers, this might be handy knowledge to have on hand. At the very least, you can stock up on your mending and unbreaking before any change gets added into the game permanently. When we talk about a new Minecraft update, we usually like to talk about all that they've added in, or at the very least changed. So it's usually a lot less fun when we talk about stuff that they removed. Although, this one might have been for the best. Like all other Minecraft changelogs, this one referred to that Mojang removed Herobrine, which I know is a cheesy ongoing joke, but I honestly just have to say that I love that it's been going on for this long. While the Amethyst item does have a use through spyglasses and calibrated Sculk sensors, it was in 1.20 that our blocks of Amethyst actually got a new behavior. And that would be that if you placed a block of Amethyst next to a Sculk sensor, then when the Sculk sensor received vibration, that block of Amethyst would re-emit the frequency as a separate vibration at this location. And this is a technical feature that was called vibration resonance. And the reason this was added in is so that players would have a way to move vibration frequencies across long distances without having to recreate it naturally. And so if you're you're using vibrations in your notification system, then you don't always have to have it explode to give off the explosion level sound. Seems a lot safer for all of us. Now the only bigger problem is, how do you know what vibration frequencies are without looking up a wiki? I mean, I do Minecraft for a job and I still don't know. And maybe that's why only technical players notice this at all. Alright, pop quiz. Which potion affects this particle? Now if you couldn't guess, don't worry, I can't either. And apparently Mojang knew that too, because that's why they differentiated between which one was the wither effect particle and which one was the potion of slow falling. Since prior to 1.20, they just looked way too similar. And it was in this update that they finally gave them both a much more distinct color. Although I will say that distinguishing it with particle effects is not the best way to find out what someone has as a potion. I mean, especially considering that particle effects can start to get muddied in color before the 1.21 update. And at that point, who cares if you're able to tell the difference? If you have both of them, it just blends in color anyway. In 1.20, we got a new kind of wood block to use with the addition of bamboo blocks. Or at least most of those bamboo blocks we're able to use as wood. Since strangely enough, the Mosaic bamboo is the only wood that cannot be used in other recipes. And instead, all they're good for is fuel. I mean, I guess they're good for decorating too. I like using it in spaghetti like this one, that was showed in a build hack video in the past. But if you wanted to craft with it, it was useless. Which, that's pretty rough. Even the nether stems you're able to use this way. But those also aren't able to be used as fuel, so maybe that's the trade-off. Minecraft's music is iconic, and I'm not just talking about the discs that we find in the game, but also the background ambient tracks that'll play while you're exploring your world. But because of how iconic certain tracks are, especially the ones that have been in since C418 did them, it could be easy to miss some of the newer ones that we now get to see. And so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't notice the 4 new music tracks that we got added into the game in 1.20. Those being A Familiar Room, Bromeliad, Crescent Dunes, and Echo in the Wind, which you can find in the Cherry Groves, the Desert, the Jungle, the Badlands, and Flower Forest biomes respectively. And honestly, speaking as someone who usually turns off the music in-game so that we don't have it recorded for videos, I know I for one almost missed these, so I'd count myself in this list too. 13 seconds into the Tricky Trials update trailer, we can see a rendering error where they had it where the chest opens but leaves the lock on the bottom, instead of the way that it happens in-game where the actual white part of this lock lifts up at the top part of the chest. And even later in that same trailer, it's animated correctly. It just seems like something that slipped past. But with how much is going on in screen in just this one shot, I get it. When our characters get shot in the 1.21 update trailer, you'll realize that any residual arrows are rendered as sprites instead of the entities that we see in-game. And because of that, we're able to see the white parts of the arrowhead sticking out of Kai when they get shot. Whereas in-game, it looks arguably more painful, with the arrows actually fully submerged inside of the character. Kai also just cannot seem to catch a break in this trailer, since later on they catch on fire during the big climactic ending scene. But what's interesting about that fire is that here it's rendered as a 3D texture, much in the same way that it is when you light a fire on the ground. However, when we catch on fire in both versions of the game, Java and Bedrock, it's rendered as a flat texture on both sides. Our first new block is the Crafter.
Oh!
You have to craft a crafter? That's ironic.
Well, that's actually one of the achievements that we can get. Yep, so as Dan found out, if you put in the materials here and you press the button, when powered with redstone, it'll craft stuff.
I think its mouth would open.
Whoa!
Nom, nom, nom.
That's interesting. Look at me collecting resources.
More!
So if you want to take these materials and then we put them in, crafters crafting crafters.
Crafters crafting crafters. Now we can make more crafters out of these crafters.
So you can actually disable the slots by clicking this. So if we wanted to craft like an iron pickaxe, it fills into it. If you were to like number the slots, this is 1 and then the bottom right is 9. And then so you would put 3 iron ingots and then 2 sticks.
See.
And now we've got the iron pickaxe.
Oh, and then I could push the lever and get an iron and a slime. Yeah!
I don't know how you got the slime. All right, next block. We've got the copper blocks.
Oh, hello.
So first, we've got the copper bulb and the copper lamp. Well, this is just the redstone lamp. We got the copper bulb and the redstone lamp.
Okay. Why'd you break it to just for example?
So see, when you toggle it with redstone, this one stays on, and this one is just temporary, as long as the signal's there.
That's really useful.
That's very useful. Oh my,
Cool.
I would dream of stuff like that in 2012.
Here, Dan, take an axe and strip down the bulb.
Oh, yeah.
Or Jay can do it.
This is my favorite time of the day. Oh, yeah. Oh.
What?
So, as you do this, it actually gets lighter.
Ooh.
So let's power it on, and then keep stripping it down.
Oh.
So the different oxidation states give off different light levels. You can do it one more.
Oh.
I can't. You're lying to me.
I didn't. Okay, well, you already did it 4 times. That's done.
Okay.
And now it's dark.
Cool.
Don't light.
I like that a lot, actually. It's very pretty. As a builder, I'm a fan of it.
How about some other building blocks? If you take copper, we can now craft a whole bunch of new things. Copper doors!
Oh, that's nice. Listen to that door sound. Listen to that. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
So that's a metal door. You're right, Dan. We have to update you.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we
Here
go.
we go. Here we go. Here we go.
And open sesame.
Nice.
Yeah.
We've also got the copper trapdoors.
Ooh, these have a very nice like sound to them.
Yeah, they do. Can you macro this, Dan? Just yeah.
Oh, not as nice when Dan goes really fast.
There we go.
I like the chiseled copper and the copper grate.
Oh, chiseled copper looks wonderful.
Copper grate. Finally, a mesh block we can build with.
Well, check it out. If you replace leaves with this, then it looks like autumn leaves.
Oh, it does. Sorry, I get fall allergies.
Rust.
Yeah, look at this, Jay.
Oh, how
A
majestic.
Nice, beautiful house.
We've got even more new blocks. This might just look like a pile, but it's a pile made up of the new tough stairs and slabs.
How tough are you?
And then if we take the tough and we put in the stone golem, we can get all the new tough variants.
A stone golem?
No tough golem. They didn't leave that one in.
Yeah.
But look, we got new walls, polished tough bricks.
Yeah, tough bricks, huh?
I can build my tough castle with this tough bricks.
Tough bricks looks awesome.
I love these bricks. These bricks are great.
Whoa,
Okay.
these look awesome.
I like the little Wind Waker swirls on these. These are great.
Yeah, my favorite block in Minecraft are stone bricks.
Oh, really?
So this is, yes.
So all these new tough and copper blocks are going to show up in the trial chambers that we're going to see later.
Ooh.
How about some more ways to decorate your house? There's 20 new paintings added into the game.
20?
I love some art.
Actually, Jay's base might be a good place to show these.
Oh, wait. I think I actually got a new one right out the gate here.
What'd you get?
I got packed PNG.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that great?
Oh, I love it.
So that one's called Unpacked.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And they got the same artist to return to do them.
That's the coolest detail.
That's cool. That's cool.
This one freaks me out. The villager one, the American Gothic. I don't like that one.
It's because the head turn. It feels too off.
This one's great. The little rose one.
That one fits right into Minecraft.
This one's weird.
What?
The little like, does this count as nudity in Minecraft? Are those two black pixels something?
It's so easy.
Greetings, gentlemen. I see you have joined me at Chateau de la J-Moji, my castle built out of tough bricks. It's a tough castle because it's
We've
made
been
out of tough bricks.
graffitiing it.
Yeah. Whatever you say, Square.
My God, you have defaced my chateau with your Banksy's works. How disgusting. Oh, these are actually quite nice.
The raccoon with the 3 lemons is a little weird. Alrighty, we've got potions.
Whoa, what's going on here?
We got an airdropped potions. New Amazon.
Okay.
Wow, how helpful.
So one of these potions we're going to get to at the end, but let me show you some of these new ones. We've got the potion of infestation.
Fire in the hole! I went further than I thought I would.
Shoot really far.
What does that do?
So this one, anytime that you take any damage, you have a 10% chance of spawning silverfish.
Oh.
Look.
Hey, there it is.
Ew.
After just about the 10th hit, it was a silverfish.
So if I was to have this, then if Dan just keeps punching me, eventually I'm gonna get silverfish.
Wait, do they like work for you?
No, they're gonna attack me.
Oh, it's not a good thing. You don't want it.
Yeah, so this will be in the traps in the trial chamber.
So it's just
Yeah.
in your skin? Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like it. Well, in fairness, the way that you get this is by drinking stone. So that might have been a first tip
Oh.
off. Let me show you the potion of oozing.
Now,
I don't like the name of it.
So if I drink this one you have to die. It'll summon slimes where I die.
Oh no, that's gross. They're living in your skin. I hate that.
So technically with this, you could make anything into a slime farm.
I guess so.
Just spray your mob farm with this, and then now you can get the slime to make the slime block and make more potions. It's a side hustle hack, folks.
the particle effect is awesome. Also, the little icon in your inventory.
Oh yeah, it's like splitting apart like an amoeba.
Yeah.
All right, let's show off our last one, which is the potion of weaving. Kill me.
Okay.
Right.
I'm on it.
No questions asked.
You got it first.
It places down multiple different cobwebs.
Oh,
it does, and the slimes got stuck in it. How gross.
So imagine you're fighting a mob down in the trial chambers, and then all of a sudden it just leaves down some cobwebs. It's gross. Yeah, I don't like that it's like still coming off. Look, I got like ticks on me.
Oh, yeah.
I look like Pigpen from the Peanuts.
You do. You do a little bit.
On to the next one. The Sherds, trims, and banners. Where's Jay? Jay, are you back at your house?
What's that? I'm in my castle.
Oh no!
Oh,
Well-
sorry. we've been breached. A science experiment gone wrong.
So we've got some new sherds that you're able to find. We've got the Scrape, Guster, and Flow pottery sherds. Let me show these off.
Oh.
So this is the Breeze that's on the front. This is the Guster.
Space these appropriately.
Sorry.
It's really bugging me.
There you go. This one is the Flow on this side. And then on the back, this one's the Scrape. So it's an X.
These are very decorative. I love it. Oh, this is so satisfying. I want to put something in it. I want to grow something out of it.
So you actually can put stuff in it. You can put items inside.
Whoa,
Wait, what?
Whoa!
And then if you shoot it, it breaks.
This is whoa, Legend of Zelda style. This is excellent. Wow, that's the best feature yet. I love this.
Just hearing it go.
That was a nice little sound stem. No, dude, I'm already full. Oh, dude, Hungry Luma's about to burst.
That legitimately sounds like a motorcycle when it's at full capacity.
Just like. It may want to go on a ride with me, I promise.
Next, we've got new armor trims. These are from the last update, but now there's some new ones. We've got the Bolt armor trim, which I think looks like Tron.
It does. It looks very peppermint-like, very Christmassy, very festive. I do.
Well, you can make it any color.
Really?
So if you wanted to, you could take the smithing template and then any armor you want, and I can make
like blue on netherrack. It would look very very Tron.
That would be so cool.
Check me out.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, it's very Tron.
That's awesome.
You like my pants?
They're like totally red.
They're like sun bleached. Like all the color came out of my pants.
Yeah.
I've also got two new banner patterns. One that looks like the Breeze and one that looks like the Flow. The Flow isn't a mob. It's just a nice design.
Pretty cool.
I like putting this one underneath another one and then it just looks like it's underlined.
I cannot emphasize this enough.
Alrighty. Jukeboxes.
Wait, what?
Jukeboxes, bird in a cage. What's going on here?
You can make a bird cage?
Jukeboxes, you're now able to make any item into a music disc.
What?
So my head plays Pickstep.
What?
So this is just with commands.
Oh, I was gonna say, what does home music sound like? But I won't know.
Mean, this sounds like rock.
It's blocks, and the clock is weight.
I get it.
There you go.
Okay.
And not just that, we also have new music discs. Hey Dan, you're looking good.
Just these are my gargoyles.
Might I interest you in pot? All right, we also got 3 new music discs. We've got Creator Music Box.
Whoa. Wait, how do I dance? Dan, will you have this dance with me?
Yes, I will. Left, right.
Left, right.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, this is definitely like haunted ballerina, like little music box. A little scary.
Well, it's a good setup for the not music box version. Well, this sure sounds like it.
Sure sounds like a music box, doesn't it?
Except wait for the bass to drop.
Oh, snap. Did they get Skrillex on this?
The parrot in the background, it's not that crazy, dude. Just whipping his head around. Oh, never mind, it is that crazy.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Me when I walk into the tavern and they're serving their strongest elixirs. Precipice.
This is a very imperial theme going on today. Or very medieval theme, if you will.
I feel like someone's gonna start spawning from the sky and a new health bar is gonna appear.
Yeah. Doves are gonna fall down from above.
The bird doesn't seem to like it at all. Oh, they didn't like it either.
No!
It killed every single bird of them.
There wasn't a single one left.
That was insane.
Welcome to the swamp. Let me show you some of our new hostile mobs. These are the Bogged.
What does that sound? Oh, I don't like them. Whoa, whoa.
So these are skeletons that'll spawn in swamps that give you poison effects.
Yeah, they fire the tipped arrows.
Yeah.
I got a good one. I'm wrangling them. Come on now. Come on, I got him.
Yeah, we're a little light on crawfish for the boil, so we're just bringing Bogged.
Yeah, I went from a strong, overpowered monarch to bayou fisherman in not much time.
But you can shear them and get their mushrooms.
Shear them?
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's cool that there's now, like, swamp-exclusive mobs, but they're just gonna kill me. They don't drop anything neat. I guess they give you the tipped arrows. That's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool, I would say.
What about the witch hut.
Oh, thanks for putting me under this house.
There's a great new change for witch huts, or just witches in general, which is now that if you kill a witch, it always has a chance of dropping redstone. Oh, Jay.
Sorry.
Well, let me take two.
Wait, so you can make redstone farms?
Yeah.
Oh, no
So you already
way.
could make redstone farms, but this dropped 7 redstone with no looting.
Whoa.
Oh, God, okay.
That's pretty good.
So redstone farms got a huge buff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at this little
That's
swamp
right.
set, by the way. We haven't had this before. This is new.
Dual wielding the skips. You know what happens if you skip twice? You resume.
Yeah,
You insane?
You just played the tutorial.
Let's skip the tutorial and skip the tutorial. All right, what about pistons?
I love a little bit of redstone magic.
So pistons are now much quieter.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and they trail off. So if you step away,
Oh my god.
I'm over here and I can't even hear it.
This seems like a pretty innocent change that won't see, a large amount of writing on Twitter.
They did have a sound where it made it sound squishy, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
They changed that because that wasn't very good. It sounded wet.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not into that. I'm not into that at
Yeah.
all.
I'm very glad they just kept the same noise and then just made it, less intrusive.
Well, speaking of new sounds, we've got new cave ambiance sounds.
Ooh.
Oh god, it sounded like a scary fish. Oh god, I hate this.
The vibes are terrible.
This is awful. Why would this play when I'm alone in the dark in a cave? I hate that.
But if you just keep stacking them.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that's what the Pistons should have sounded like. Just made ambient horror sounds. Oh, in this update, they fixed one of the oldest bugs in the game. Let's all get some saddled pigs.
Oh, hey there, Jay.
Hey, Dan.
Originally, there was no way for entities who were riding other entities to go into a portal.
Oh.
But now, it works.
Hey, we
Which
did
is so much
it.
nicer.
That's fun.
That's fantastic.
Ah!
Jay,
There's now a new detection. So if I do effect give at N, then that gives it to the nearest.
Oh.
Well, no, it gives it to the nearest entity. In the past, you would have to type out this whole command distance equals 1, limit equals whatever. That's not what you have to do anymore. Now you can just do this. It'll do it to any entity that's close. Dan is the nearest entity. He steps back. It'll go to J.
Oh,
Whoa,
what?
invisibility infinitely.
And then if we have a pig here, it does it to the pig.
Whoa,
Oh.
that's pretty cool.
So it does it to whatever entity's nearest. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah. No need to separate between at E and at P.
Yeah. Let me show you guys our cutest addition.
They added me.
This is the Armadillo.
Oh, this guy.
Hey, he's been in my Minecraft loading screen for far too long. Now I see him.
Yeah, I love him.
Hey, I
Should
love
have been
him.
the crab, not you.
Oh, I thought you were Skip. I was really confused.
Yeah, could you take off my head, please?
Skip, why would you do that? Skip, why
Yeah.
would
I
you
was
just
up, I
kill
was I'm just a little guy. I don't know what you would expect me to do. This will spawn inside of savanna biomes. We'll occasionally drop armadillo scute, or if you take a brush, you can brush off the scute.
Oh my god, that broke the brush.
Yeah, it takes 16 durability each time.
Oh, you
Whoa.
can keep milking them?
Dan, go into creative and hit him
Hold
with
on.
the brush macro.
Hey there, little guy. Oh, you haven't taken a shower in a long time. Here, just get all this skin off.
Isn't that scute? I think it's only scute. Dan's the quickest farm. Oh god. Dude, he's scared. Oh, he's shaking. Why did you make him
he's
so
a little guy.
sad?
He's scared of me.
You can actually breed them if we give them spider eyes.
What? They like spider eyes? That's what they're into?
They love spider eyes.
Okay.
And then we got a little baby Armadillo.
I don't see him. There he is. So watch out. He's so small, you might step on him.
So if you start sprinting next to them, or they see anything as a threat, they'll start getting scared and they'll roll up. So you can play soccer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hey, guys, I got a yo-yo. Whee! Oh.
So the armadillos, if you have a spider and it's not rolled up, they'll get scared of them. Look.
Oh, the spider is scared of the armadillo?
Yeah.
Finally, we found your weakness. How do you like this, buddy? Nowhere to run. Oh,
There's
I forgot
exactly
they could do that.
there was a place to run.
This is awesome.
Do we have armadillo scute?
There you go.
So if we take this, the use for this item is if you put it together in kind of a harness shape, you can make wolf armor.
What?
Ooh.
How is a wolf? Oh, for a wolf. I thought it was like wolf armor, like I wear
Like
it.
I just
Oh,
wore it
wolf
like a Viking.
armor. Yeah. Oh, it's a brown dog. dog!
We've now got new wolf variants. So we've got the standard wolf. This is now called the pale wolf. This will spawn in a taiga biome, but we've also got a whole bunch more. In your jungle biomes, you will find the rusty wolf.
Whoa, he's like the copper wolf, like copper that we saw earlier.
We've got the spotted wolf.
Whoa, look at him!
The spotted wolf you get from the Savannah Plateau.
Oh, my.
And then the black wolf is from the old growth pine taiga, which is a hard biome to find.
Oh, mine.
Oh my god, or Dan's.
Oh, man. This is like what you see outside of like a Whole Foods.
Yeah. The black wolf looks like it has really sad eyes.
It does. Maybe because you're dropping armadillos on it.
This is the snowy wolf. You get this from the groves.
Ooh.
We've got the ashen wolf. This one looks like an actual like wolf.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the woods wolf.
Hey, oh, this guy looks awesome. What a beautiful, these are beautiful.
This is probably the one you're going to see the most. This one comes in forest biomes.
This is a good change. I like this.
And then we've got the chestnut wolf.
Oh, chestnut's roasting.
This one definitely looks like a hyena.
Yeah, he does, and I love him all the same.
Well, okay, this is like the tier list. This is how you rank them. Ta-da! Yeah, we didn't get this one. This one's definitely hyena.
Oh, this is awesome.
Hey, the whole pack.
The whole pack, I did it.
Now you're gonna have to show us the wolf armor features. So you can put wolf armor on your tamed wolves.
My army, yes.
Oh, that's great.
And that'll block all damage. I think actually, no, if I have like strength 255, this is a better way to show this.
Wait, is it damage nullification or reduction? Like, nullification is insane.
Nullification until it breaks.
Oh.
So look, I'm hitting it with armor 255.
That is awesome.
You could actually repair their armor with the scute, Jay. So see, like this one has cracks on it. If you give it the scute, here you go.
Thank you. Here, boy. Whoa, you could heal it. Also, armadillos are actually extremely useful.
You're supposed to get a new advancement for it. Hold on.
What? Oh, I did it all the way. I didn't do it all the way. Oh,
yeah.
You can use multiple. Yeah, there we go. Now he's up to snuff.
What's that?
Now, Jay, you're actually able to dye it.
Oh.
Take a pair of shears and clip it off your wolf, and you get sheer brilliance. That's how you take it off.
Nice.
And then if I take my red dye, and you could dye it the same way that you do leather armor.
No way.
So you can dye it in like intervals.
Oh.
And then if I take my wolf, look, it's got like the red coat.
What?
That's awesome.
So cool.
Now we've got a bunch of new attribute commands. Dan's gonna like this one. So this is a bunch of new commands. Fall damage multiplier.
Oh no, my jeans.
Set 20. So long, soldier.
Whoa, 3.5.
Whoa.
All right. See you, Dan.
Wow.
And you can also go down to a value of 0. So if we wanted like Dan to have a value of 0.01 and then we teleported him to like 1,000. See ya.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Make a net. Make a net to catch him.
This is the most important water bucket clutch of his life.
Oh my god, is that little dot him? There he is.
He's fine.
You look like you crashed down from outer space.
So how much damage did you take there, Dan?
I think 3 hearts.
3 hearts for a 1,000 block drop. That's insane. How do you guys feel about space?
Space!
Now Jay's on the moon.
I'm actually a spaceman for real.
What have you done?
Oh, I'm on the moon.
Oh,
You can make half gravity.
Oh yeah, I got it too. Wait, could you do this and add the super impactful fall damage thing?
Oh, yes. Go,
The
Dan.
moon is a deadly place.
Whee!
Isn't the moon awesome, Failboat?
All right, here's...
Wait, wait, what are you doing to me? What are you doing?
I made your gravity the highest ever.
Jay, help me!
All the way
We're on
down to
different
the
planets.
lowest ever. You can make it negative.
Oh,
What?
oh, that spooked me. Wait,
That's crazy.
Space! I'm still going. I'm still going.
Oh, this is terrifying. We have liftoff.
Flying is not enabled on this server.
All right, let me show you the real don't jump challenge. If I take Dan and I do generic safe fall distance, negative 100, Dan cannot fall any amount of blocks. Jump.
Wait, I can't respawn because when you respawn, you fall like 0.1 block.
Oh, a Failboat farm. How useful.
Wait, Dan, try. Yeah, there you go. Now if I set it to 0, now Dan's fine.
I just habitually tried to jump and I couldn't.
This sound is so funny.
You have no legs.
Oh god, I'm so frail.
Dan, you're gonna love this one.
Whoa, whoa, oh.
Whoa, what?
Oh my god.
No way.
Natural player
Me too,
size
me too.
increase.
Me too, I want to be big too. I want to do it too.
Dan is the biggest, and Jay will be the smallest.
Don't you dare do this, Skip. Don't you dare do it. I do not want to be a tiny little guy. No, no, I refuse. I refuse. Dan, stay away.
Come here.
Oh my god, this is adorable.
J-Moji.
Come on, I just wanna play Splatoon. Come on.
Little guy.
This is a good thumbnail. Oh my god.
Want to play hide and seek in the house?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, go. Oh, skill.
This is actually hard. We should definitely do small versus giant hide and seek.
This is,
dude, this is like It Takes Two.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
This is awesome.
Oh, there's Jay. Hey!
Scatter.
Okay, let me build something that's 10 blocks tall. Yeah!
Whoa.
So you can change my step height.
What?
It looks like I just teleport up.
Yeah,
It
well,
does.
it does. On our screen, it literally is what it is.
Let me show you the player block interaction range.
I know what this is.
Dan can now break blocks from 10 blocks away.
Whoa, really?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So if you use your macro on a straight line, you could just shoot straight through it. Wow.
I believe it goes up to 64.
What? Oh my
Well,
god.
goodbye.
My castle. No.
If you came into my world and started doing this, I would be so scared.
Yeah.
If you were just writing little messages. Ah!
Whoa! Dude, seeing a build form from nothing is terrifying, especially if it's that block. That's so sketch.
Wait, Dan, your entity interaction's up too. Try punching me. Ow!
Come here, Sam.
No!
You can't even hide.
Dan's the Wither Storm. Stop! Cease!
Look, his laser beam cutting through the house. Oh my god, that's amazing. Look how fast you can build with this. Oh, new castle. Here we come.
This is awesome.
Awesome.
It just like approaches me.
Yeah. This actually would be really helpful for builders and creative. Like if you didn't have world edit, this is genuinely useful.
All right, are you guys familiar with spawn chunks?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
So it's the idea that around spawn point, it used to be that 361 chunks were loaded around your spawn at all times. That's no longer the case. They've now since nerfed this down to only 9 chunks. So if you wanted your farms to be loaded, pretty limited.
Uh-oh. That sucks.
Oh, that's
But-
a huge nerf.
With this, we can actually now change our spawn chunk radius. And we can set it even higher than it was before to 32 spawn chunks.
Wow, how useful.
Or you can make it 0 and just turn it off completely. Now it's just the
Wow.
player gets to choose how to balance it. It's pretty handy for lag.
That's
That
very
is
nice.
pretty neat. That is good for lag, actually. When we're doing crazy stuff on a server, I think that's going to come in handy.
Oh, Dan, this looks horrible. I'm gonna have to like...
These are the spires of
I have
my
to go hit the
castle.
hard reset again. It looks like we're getting actively griefed. All right, pandas can currently sneeze slime balls.
Why?
Because it's the sneezing panda reference.
That's adorable. I love that.
Oh, I love memes.
Now this is a loot table, so you can change what items they sneeze. So it could just cough up gold.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here.
So you can make it sneeze whatever you want. You can make it sneeze a cease and desist.
I see why they're endangered.
So cobwebs used to sound like stone when you placed them down. They didn't have a sound
Oh, yeah.
effect. Now they sound like cobwebs.
Yeah,
sense.
it's not pleasant in my ear necessarily, but I'm with it.
So grindstones, we used to have this hack where we could put cursive bindings in grindstones, right? You put 2 of them in, and originally the way that that would work is because you can't remove a curse, you could stack enchanted books. But now there's no way to do this anymore. You just put 2 in, and it just blocks it completely. No more
No!
stacking cursed books.
What a nerve.
Mojang hates us.
This item got a new name. This used to be called Scute, and now it's Turtle Scute because there's 2 different Scutes in the game.
That makes sense.
I feel like Mojang got really proud of themselves for learning the technical word for Scute, and now it just gets put everywhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be Rotten Flesh is now zombie skewed. Like, it's all gonna change over. Spider eyes are now arachnid optical skewed.
If you have a hopper system for it, it's a Scute shoot. All right, so usually when you used to add the multi-shot enchantment to the bow, even if you were in creative, it didn't work. Except for now, It does.
Hey.
So now we can have
nice.
multi-shot bows on top of our multi-shot crossbows. But you have to do this in creative. This doesn't work in survival. You can even give it piercing as well. So all the crossbow enchantments could go on bows and all the bow enchantments could go on crossbows. All right, so if you guys go into your menu, like let's say you hit the controls menu, you'll notice it's no longer dirt. It just blurs it.
Whoa, it isn't. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Is it gone everywhere?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. No more dirt. Wow, they cleaned up the place.
What have they done to my game?
It's ruined.
There's a new option in the accessibility tab. You can change the blurriness of the menus. So you can make it completely off.
Oh.
All the way up to menu blurriness 10.
I like that. I actually really like it.
All right, there's actually some more backgrounds that have changed. It used to be that when you would go to the nether, for a brief frame, you would see a dirt thing saying loading terrain. Now it's a portal back frame that says loading terrain.
Oh, yeah.
And when you go through the end portal, it'll be an end portal.
That's neat.
Way more seamless.
That is nice. I like
Great.
that. Quality of life. Whoa.
You don't even notice it in most cases. It's awesome. So anyway, we're gonna drink a bunch of potions.
I am thirsty. Thanks for asking.
So what used to happen is when you would drink potion effects, it would blur all of the colors of your status effects into one, but now it keeps them all separate.
Oh, that's quite cool.
That's cool. You got all the effects. That's really neat.
Which I like a lot better.
Yeah, that's really neat. You look like a bubbly, fun, colorful thing.
And now we're on to the trial chambers.
Hooray, the trial chambers. I'm ready for a trial. I always win at trials. I'm good at this.
Let's get a cartographer villager, and we're gonna trade up with him, make him the richest
Okay.
man in history.
How about some paper scute?
Paper skew. Yeah, here we go, the trial explorer map.
Oh, this is cool. I'm there.
Hey.
I found it.
All right, so we're gonna have to go down deep. Plunge, my friends.
Into the depths we go. Oh, I found it. Whoa. Whoa.
So, when you enter in, you will get the new advancement, Minecraft Trial Edition.
Okay.
This is the new structure, the trial chambers.
Oh, it's got scary skeleton dudes.
So, this is the new trial spawner, which once you get near it, it'll just start spawning multiple enemies of the certain type. So you can tell what it is based off the blocks around it. So these are ice, so it's gonna be the stray.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's quite cool.
That's a very specific detail.
Oh,
All right, guys,
I'm
on
being
it.
trialed.
I'm on it. Don't worry. Oh, they're shooting each other. They are the trial.
So this is the vault, and if you get the trial key for defeating this, you can open it up to get not only the new advancement,
things.
but you'll get all the loot. So every person gets a chance at opening it. But if I was in like survival, I wouldn't be allowed to open it again.
Oh, okay. So let me try it myself here. Get out of my loot. I got a shield. How about that? Oh, that's quite nice.
All right, so what I got here, Dan, is the ominous potion. This ominous potion gives me the bad omen effect.
Why would you want? Oh, to do a
why?
raid. I guess if you want to do a raid, you could do that. Yeah.
So that's how you do a raid, but that's also how you do the harder versions of trial chambers.
Oh.
Now it's
I
got blue
see.
particles, so now it's... Oh, they spawn with like the different armors too.
Oh, so they're harder now. Okay, I see what's going on. Oh, this one's got, look, they've got like the fancy armor with the patterns.
Yeah, they got the designs on it. It's sick.
That's cool. And they all have swords.
And the loot will get better. Now all of a sudden when I defeat things, I get the ominous key.
Open the ominous chest. Ominous chest.
I found something fun for you, Skip.
Oh, we got our new mob.
Yeah.
So this is the Breeze, the new mob.
Oh, they jump?
Whoa.
Dude, they got insane heights. They got Nike Airs. They got Air Jordan.
They make like wither sounds to sound all like airy and wind-like.
So this is the wind counterpart to the Blaze.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's so cool.
So their wind charges that they're shooting off actually will trigger redstone. So that's why the trapdoors in the floor are like targeting off.
Oh, they spleef you. That's
awesome.
so funny. I love this.
Oh, they drop wind rods. Breeze rods, sorry, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, so the breeze rods are one of the things that we need to be able to craft the mace, the new item. And much like gas, we're able to shoot back their wind charge.
Wait, you can punch the wind charges?
Yeah, you can punch it back at them.
Wait, Skip, can you set the world tick speed to be super low?
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh my god! That was
This
an
is so
awesome
sick.
POV. All right, Blaze. Oh, I did it!
You gotta kill it with it. So I guess you would get it low first, and then you'd try it.
There is a ominous-looking chest up here surrounded by candles. Should I open this?
Yeah, go ahead. Ah, that's how you
did
get the revaulting.
Oh.
So you can go back through this whole vault again with the ominous potion.
Oh, I got a heavy core.
So the heavy core is how we're gonna make ourselves the mace.
Oh, I see. It's all coming together.
Hey, finally! Oh my god.
There you go.
did it.
What
There
an
it goes.
insane new mob.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Look at this.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Bing.
Yeah.
It's like the Ender Dragon.
They're repellent. Like, this is-
What? Oh, I wonder if you can make a back and forth tower of like 5 of them. And like
Yeah.
one thing and it goes brrrr, like all the way up with like mob freezing.
Yes, we just hit it back.
Yeah, look at that. That's so funny.
That's sick. All right, so Jay, you got the heavy core?
Yes, I do have the heavy core.
All right, so with our heavy core and our breeze rods.
I got a mace. Yay!
So this one will do more damage the more that you fall from it. Fall with it, rather. Oh, that did all my health, Dan. They're coming down to half a heart.
Oh my god, I destroyed stuff around me with that.
Yeah, so it does like an AoE effect. What's even better is when you do this, you don't take any fall damage yourself when you hit something.
Yeah.
And the damage keeps scaling. Let's get like a warden. I'm going to go up hundreds of blocks.
Good luck.
Let's try it.
Uh-oh. Wolf, I would get out of there.
Sorry, Wolf.
I missed.
And my hope will never die.
Finally!
Oh,
I got it!
Someone got it.
Woo!
Well, it didn't kill him, so...
But yeah, if you go up to like 1,000 blocks, you can kill it. We do have some other enchantments that we can add to this. One is based off of a potion called Wind Charge. That was the potion that we were saving for later.
It's now later.
He is now Wind Charged.
Me too, me too, me too.
What have I done?
I got some.
So what this does, release a burst of wind on death. Sorry, Wolf. Out.
My hope will never die.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
right.
See? So you have to kill it. Okay.
Hey.
Kill me, Dan.
Okay.
Okay. Ah! Delayed
Why did he explode
detonation.
so late? Why? It opened all the doors. It opened
Oh,
all
because the
doors.
redstone.
So we can also get the Wind Charge item, which is what they were throwing off.
Let's see if I can hit it back at you. I can.
Can we play tennis with this?
Yeah. Do it. Serve it.
Can we get a ball from the ball boy? I don't know if I can hit it back the second time.
Come on.
Hey, there you go.
It worked.
You have to hit it up high, though.
I get it.
But if you crouch first, you can get the achievement, Who Needs Rockets?
That's amazing.
Yeah. What a clever achievement name. I love it. Whoa, that was awesome. I did a fall damage cancel with one.
Oh, really?
What? Really?
Yeah. I jumped off a thing and threw it like way before I hit the ground.
Oops, I didn't. So no longer. Water clutches are dead now. This is the way to do it.
I just did a Wind Charge into a mace. Let me show you guys the new enchantments for the mace. Put on a set of netherite armor, please. So with the help of this enchantment, Breach, which goes up to level 4, it'll ignore armor.
3.5.
That ignored your armor, dude. That was
Oh,
saying.
you're right. I forgot I'm wearing that.
Let me give me a regular mace.
Yeah, please. 1 heart. Yeah. No, incredible.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So then if you partner that with the density achievement,
Uh-oh.
which makes it do even more damage the more I'm falling.
Oh boy, here he goes.
There he goes.
From the top rope.
Oh
My God, that even pushed me back. That was crazy.
Full health with netherrack.
Our last enchantment is the Wind Burst 3.
Whoa! Oh, the combo one. That's right.
So if you fall and then hit something, yeah!
Whoa. Wow, it does a lot of fall damage to me, though. Ow.
Awesome.
And also that. That also just does damage to me.
But if I summon like an allay,
The creature with the smallest hitbox. Okay.
and now you can parkour.
I know I really build up.
This is so fun.
We also have the Wind Charge parkour video. Yeah?
Yeah. Can you do one of these, but with a giant slime?
Yeah, and a
Yeah,
line
yeah.
of them.
Oh, perfect.
You saw me.
Whoa! Wait, they divide. Of course they do.
Yeah, because you're doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
This is a
Bouncy
blast.
house.
This is sick. With the new wind charges that we get from the trial chambers below, they're not just good for flipping open the trapdoors that we see down there, because it only takes one look at all the tweets made about this update to see how we're also able to use these for a boost jump if we want to. And now it starts to feel like rocket jumping in something like TF2. And while I love this update, it does have a little twinge of the fact that I'm gonna get annoyed seeing how many different TikTok parkour videos start using this. But hey, you need something to watch while an AI reads out a Reddit article, so I guess this is something. With the help of our crafters, bartering farms just got so much stronger. Since now we're able to incorporate this into multiple parts of the process and use our piglins to basically make us all of the items that you can see on this handy sheet. And credit to user Billy K for laying all this out. I think particularly having the ability to make automatic Eyes of Ender, take our iron nuggets and can craft it into iron ingots and then iron blocks, and perhaps my favorite, which is crafting all of our quartz into the different variants that we want it to be. It'll get even easier to grab all the resources out of this farm, though perhaps first you're really gonna need an item sorter after the end of this. The price we pay for having a lot of items, I guess. Learning how to use the crafters is a bit of a tough sell, because to have things fill into it with a hopper, you have to know that they fill in a certain order, which makes it a lot harder if you want to craft something automatically with a shaped recipe. But here's one for you to memorize. By placing a hopper facing into a crafter, and then whatever container you want on top, we're first going to put in our 3 milk buckets, 1 sugar, 1 egg, followed by another sugar, and finally 3 wheat, which when we then press our button, we'll have in fact given ourselves a cake. It's almost like memorizing a phone number. But if you want a new party trick, this could be a fun one to do instead of note blocks. With all the new advancements that we got in 1.21, one of the hardest ones to get is the Blowback Advancement. But there is an equally easy solution that you can do inside of the game, since by simply trapping the breeze inside of a boat, then you're able to deflect their shots back at them at a much higher success rate. Now, even if this is true that you're going to be able to hit these back simpler, I will still recommend softening up the breeze with a couple of different weapons at first. I mean, these wind charges do not do a lot of damage to them, so get it down to about 1 hit and then finish off the job that way. Since the new wind charge item is able to interact with wooden buttons, that means that if we set up an arena like the one that you see here, we can have a dispenser shoot off a wind charge to then activate another dispenser with another wind charge until quickly the results get very crazy, and particularly laggy too. But watching it play out in this example, it's hard to say it isn't funny. It almost looks like there's a video playing out on the copper bulbs with how much it's getting updated. Like I'm part expecting while watching this bad apple's gonna start playing, so maybe it's just Pavlovian. If you've ever decided to build a copper roof for your build, then you know just how hard it can be to get that much of the stuff. And the fact that we now have so many more copper blocks to choose from this update, that problem isn't getting any easier anytime soon. Or it wouldn't if you were still using drowns to farm for your copper. Since if you're lucky enough to find a trial chamber down in the mines, then forget about copper ore, we can just mine out all this build for our copper needs. It's actually kind of surprising how much Mojang gives us of this stuff anyways. I mean, the fact that we're even able to break blocks in the trial chamber seems weird, but to put this many expensive blocks here too, you'd be silly not to clear one of these out after you get rid of all the mobs. Unfortunately, it's impossible for us to stack our heavy cores on top of one another. But while that seems like it would be a downside, when you look at a pattern like this, it might make you want to reconsider. Since by alternating between a heavy core, a wall, and another heavy core on top, we can take after this zigzag pattern and add ourselves a kind of raindrop effect inside of your walls. And using this to texture the outside of a building would look particularly cool. Just also costs a whole lot of heavy cores, so maybe save this one for the creative world. When copper bulbs were first given to the community, it was huge news for Redstone engineers, and not because of a new light source, but because this block updated on 1 tick instead of the regular 2-tick system that everything else does. Which means that we can make machines like this one that you can see here, which I've got to say is the most beautiful fireworks display I've ever seen in Minecraft. And honestly, probably in real life too. It's hard to get this level of precision anywhere, and unfortunately that includes in recent updates because when the copper bulbs were fully added in, their tick rate was changed to be in line with other redstone mechanics. So no longer a single tick, and these crazy redstone machines only exist in the snapshots. While rating the new trial chambers that we're finding in this update, how do you tell which mobs are going to spawn from a different trial spawner? Well, I guess the easy answer would be wait until they start spawning, but you can actually go against that, since by looking at the floor design, you can see in this helpful graphic from Reddit, each one of these spawners has a different 4 blocks that are put into the base. So mossy cobblestone for the zombie, but then a mix of mossy cobblestone and cobblestone for a baby zombie, ice for the stray, podzol and bone blocks for the bogged, and of course the new chiseled tuff blocks for the new breeze mob. And once you know how to look out for these, and particularly look out for the ones that are going to be in trouble, it can really help you out in a pinch, especially when you're going for the Revaulting Advancement and you're going back through again. Then it would definitely help to know which ones are which when you're going in. And while you're down in those trial chambers, you should remember to bring yourself an axe. And not just for fighting mobs, because actually a sword would be better for the PvE with the sweeping edge. And the reason is that if you bring down an axe, you're able to use that to strip off the oxidation off of the copper bulbs down there and get extra light inside of the trial chambers, which can really help you out a lot when it's already hard enough to see down there. And hey, it could also get you to that new advancement of stripping off all the copper. Then it's really a no-brainer. Even if it's a cheap axe, it's gonna do the job in both cases. Giants in Minecraft have not worked in a very long time, and that's intentional. They were left in the code, but they were intentionally given no AI. But now with the scale attribute command, we're able to take a zombie and then scale it up to giant size, and it'll have AI. You can even use the attribute commands to change its speed, its health, basically making your own boss mob inside of your world. I just wouldn't recommend doing like this user and giving it speed of a scale 3. Something about a giant zombie freaking out at the top of a ravine is horrifying in any update. I'm glad Mojang never added in this version of the giant. Minecraft's crafter originally used to look like this, and it's here in this concept sheet that you can really clearly see that they intended it to be a face, with the eyes glowing when powered, and then the mouth spitting out the item when it needs to. And honestly, I just think this is a really interesting look in how Mojang designs things. I would love if they released a whole book of this stuff. And really, it makes me disappointed that the final version of the crafter doesn't look as much like a robot as this one does. I think it's a really funny design. It's a shame they didn't go into it as hard as they did here. With the new armadillos that spawned from the Armored Paws update, we've now got a new terror for our spiders. And as many technical Minecraft players have been quick to point out, as long as we make sure that the armadillos aren't getting rolled up, then they'll be able to scare the spiders off the walls of your mob farm, which, as anyone who's ever had to build one of these mob farms know, is a real jamming point. And so while it might be hard to get an armadillo over there in the first place, it turns out that having a few of these will just make it a lot easier for your farm's returns. During the snapshot testing phase for both the wind charges and the wind charge enchantment for the mace, there existed this particularly overpowered double use, which is that if you fired off a wind charge like this and then hit it with your mace, you'd be able to launch yourselves up even higher off the momentum of that. I mean, in this example, they're doing it from the base of a stony peak mountain all the way up into the snow-covered tops. And unfortunately, this is no longer the case, since now you need to fall from a greater height to be able to activate the Windburst enchantment instead of just doing it from standing still. Still cool to see in the snapshots though. Mining down in the caves can be particularly lonely, especially if you're strip mining. And considering that usually the other options we have for company just try to kill us, I'd much rather have this option for the crafter refill station. Here we got a little crafter buddy with its arm held out for a high five. And then when you go over and do its secret handshake, you notice it's not just a little buddy that's waving to you, but it'll also refill that pickaxe that you just broke. And I think before you get mending or unbreaking in your tools, this could be a great thing to have for those early mining sessions, where you've got just enough for iron, but not much past that. And hey, it's companionship, so you can't put a price on that, and if you could, it's 5 iron ingots. And if you don't go ahead and add in the lever on the side of the crafter, you'll notice that on the side of the texture, this here works particularly well as looking like a phone. So add it on top of a wall with a couple of trapdoors beside it, and we've basically got ourselves a payphone inside of our world. And for the final bits, you can add in a lever with an iron bar on top, finishing it off with a redstone torch for the antenna, and just an empty flower pot to decorate this part on the top, giving you a good-looking payphone, and I guess technically the crafter's still usable if you flip this lever. It just might not look as good as the payphone when you do that. You're sacrificing form for function, so choose which one's more important to you at the time. With the addition of the copper bulb, we now have the most compact T flip-flop that we could ever use in Redstone. And what that means is that if we just place a button next to a copper bulb like this with a comparator coming out the back, we can now finally use buttons as a super simple toggle for our doors instead of just temporarily opening it before it closes. And for someone who likes the look of buttons a lot more than levers, I think this is just great. Definitely what I'm going to be using in my next base for sure. Well, an easy way to get an automatic armadillo scute farm is just to leave the armadillos be and have a hopper underneath. An even quicker one could be using a dispenser with a brush facing towards the armadillo to have it brush off the scute. Now granted, you are going to need more than a few brushes to do this, considering the fact that it takes 16 durability every time you use the brush. But if you don't want to be the one getting all your wolf armor, you can do it this way. We've seen a lot of different elevators in Minecraft, but this perhaps has to be the strangest. But even though it's strange, doesn't mean that it's not effective. And as we can see, just by tucking a bunch of villagers inside of the fences like this, if we equip ourselves with a Windburst mace, we can then chase ourselves up with villagers right up to the top of this elevator shaft. And while that's all well and good, I think what really sells this post for me is the fact that it was originally made by someone with the username SavagePlayer64. And when you're doing this for this many villagers, I think you earn that name well over 64 times. But hey, I'm gonna use it too, so maybe that makes me SavagePlayer65. In case you forgot to disable fire tick in your world, you're gonna want a fire escape for your build. I mean, after all, we're not the Disney Star Wars hotel. We should probably build one of ours with these. And what user Original Bubble did in their world, I think makes it look really nice. Now, if you wanted to blend in more with the brick side of your build, then you could just use one of the more weathered options of copper. But if you want it to pop out, maybe for safety reasons, then the full oxidized version stands out really nicely against the browns of the bricks. And I just really love how in this example they're using the fences with the trapdoors on top of them for the stairs. If anything, it's maybe the first example I've seen of jungle wood actually being used well. But hey, if we're able to have the illusion of safety just to get past OSHA, that's fine by me. The first time that Mojang ever showcased the heavy core or the breeze rod items was actually in a game over screenshot. Yeah, weirdly enough, Mojang showed off this very strange picture of a game over screen, and amongst those items, you can see the heavy core and the breeze rod if you zoom in. It is a weird, unceremonious way to reveal something that eventually became the ingredients for making and the mace, one of the biggest features of the game. With the Armored Paws update of 1.20.5, armadillos were a hard feature to miss. However, what came along with those armadillos might have just passed you by. Since while one of the main features is that spiders will run away from armadillos when they're not rolled up, you might not have noticed that cave spiders also have this behavior. And why is that important? Well, now you can consider bringing an armadillo with you when you go from the savanna biome over into the Badlands, since there they'll be able to help keep away the cave spiders that spawn inside the Badland mine shafts, or just mine shafts in general. It might be a little awkward bringing an armadillo down there, but it might just help you out if you're in a pinch. With the Armored Paws update for Minecraft, we got 8 new variants to our different wolves, and each of those wolf variants has a different real-world counterpart, like the striped wolf being based off the striped hyena, which, okay, apparently the technical name for it is hyena, which is just great. The spotted wolf is based off the African wild dog, the forest wolf is referenced from the golden jackal, the rusty fox comes from the dhole, chestnut wolves are based off the crab-eating fox, snowy wolves are unsurprisingly based off of Arctic wolves, ashen wolves are based off the northwestern ones, the black wolf is based off the melanistic gray wolf, and our original pale wolf that we had for so long, that's just based off a gray wolf. And shout out to Artem on Twitter for piecing that all together, because honestly it's so surprising to me that they use so many different counterparts that weren't wolves in the first place. I guess they were kind of limited when you couldn't tame foxes the same way that we tame wolves, but I'm glad they used wild animals instead of more domesticated breeds like I've seen in other resource packs. Those are great, but I think this is better for Minecraft. In my personal opinion, Cyberpunk is one of those build styles that's really hard to pull off, but once you do, it looks just fantastic. And what I personally love to see is when people use the paintings as some form of graffiti on the sides of their walls. And while this was originally built before the new paintings were even teased for Minecraft, I think with all the new ones that we got to play around with, our Cyberpunk builds just got a lot more of a story to tell. And I think covering up parts of the paintings too can make it look even like a new painting inside of your world. I mean, look at this example in the original post where the end rods are crossing over this figure in the painting. Even though I'm familiar with the original, and I have been for years, if I didn't look too closely, I'd think it was something entirely new. And that's the kind of ingenuity I always love to see with every new update. As you'll see, we don't just have to use the wind charges for jumping, but also while we're flying. And so if you start flying close to the ground with your elytra, look straight down, right click, and then if you look back up in one quick motion, all of that wind charge will turn into a hefty boost off the ground. Just make sure your sensitivity is good enough for able to look up as quick as you're looking down. Since while it is true that the closer to the ground that you get, the better the effect is going to be, it's also true that if you get too close to the ground, it's not going to do you anything. You're just going to be a pile of items and a waste of a wind charge. In 1.21, we got a new gradient of blocks to play around with. But from this angle, you might not be able to tell what they are. But switch over to the other side, and you're able to see that part of this gradient is using the new crafter block. And really, that's just one of the many different options that we can use with this block. Since with the different directions that we have for this block, we could also face it this way for a button pad, have it right side up as a wall trim at the bottom of your floors, or sneak it behind a couple of slabs or stairs in your wall as some kind of grate. And honestly, all the different build hacks that Penguin laid out here are just brilliant for it. And if anything, I'm just glad to see a block that helps out both the redstone part of the community and the builders in the same breath. Those obviously give us some new textures to use in our builds, but it's not just their textures we're paying attention to. Since this post shows off, it's what you see by looking through those textures that makes them particularly interesting. And now with our new copper grates and frames, we can use this to make a particularly good looking gradient to use inside of our builds. And I for one am a big fan of this one where it goes from the orange of the copper into the blue of the Sculk. Or being able to choose between having the blocks in the background all the way up to the cherry petals on top. There's a surprising amount of choice that you get to use here. And if anything, it's just a good reminder that it's not just the blocks that you're building with, but also the different layers of depth that you can add to your build. If you ever watch how things are revealed in Minecraft's trailers, you'll see that in early Minecraft live showcases, they commonly use diamonds and emeralds as a placeholder item for loot tables. Then it gets pretty funny when you actually go into the game and see that trial things were actually giving us baked potatoes as rewards. And now, don't get me wrong, we actually do get really good rewards from these things using the ominous bottles, but I just think it's funny how often these obviously rare items are used as just placeholders. I mean, same was true for archaeology. I've never found a diamond with my brush, but if you show off a feature with a wooden hoe, it doesn't exactly get people excited. I get why they do it, is what I'm saying. With the ways that the crafter block lights up when you power it, we're able to incorporate it into our walls and floors, and take after this user's example to have a chasing light effect that goes through your industrial builds. And now this is starting to look like something that you'd get in a mod pack, let alone in vanilla Minecraft. And while that might turn away certain players, I think it looks pretty nice here. And for showing players where to go inside of your map, this is a really cool way to do it. if not gonna take a little bit of redstone and upfront cost to craft all these. In the past, we used to use TNT for our player cannons, but ever since 1.21, we're now able to follow after Michael 23B's design and make one of the easiest player cannons using wind charges. As we can see in this example, in almost no time, they travel nearly 60 blocks just to land perfectly at the top and take no fall damage from it. I mean, with TNT player cannons, sure, you can reduce the amount of damage that you take with things like blast protection, but even then, there's some damage sustained. But because of the way that wind charges work, there's absolutely none sustained here. And with redstone that's so simple you could learn how to do it from just a screenshot, there's no reason not to build this in your next base. In my opinion, the Bogged is one of the coolest looking mobs that's been added to Minecraft, but I wouldn't have had that same opinion if this original design for the Bogged got added in. Since here we can see that the Bogged originally didn't hold anything in its hands, but more specifically noticeable is just how it doesn't have a face. Yeah, it's literally just a mossy head, but it also doesn't look particularly good. And while it's fun to make fun of this, I should note that this is originally a texture without the overlay. But even with or without the overlay, this isn't ultimately what they decided on, and they went a different direction. And I'm glad they did, honestly. Cauldrons have never been a particularly useful block. And while I doubt that this makes them any more useful, it is true that if we took an Armadillo, it fits perfectly inside of the Cauldron's hitbox. And while it might not look like this when it's angled like this as its actual model, turn on hitboxes, and sure enough you can see it fits really nicely. I mean, at least an Armadillo is more useful than the water that we can put inside of one of these things, so if I have to choose, this is how I'm going to use my Cauldrons going forward. What's the first thing you think of when you see a shulker? Well, if you're like me, you probably often find it annoying. But now here we'll see that the levitation effect that they give us isn't the only way that they can help us get serious airtime. And by using these shulkers placed on walls like this, we're able to add in the Mace's Windburst enchantment to essentially give us spring pads while we're doing a parkour course. And hey, using commands and other ways to change the colors of the shulkers, you could really put this to good use inside of your next parkour map. And if anything, it's just an excuse to get back at those shulkers for all the times they killed you inside of the end. All I'm hearing is pros, folks. So if you also want to get out your anger on the things, this is at least a more fun way to do it than typing /kill all. Now, one of the things you use to make the mace is the heavy core, which is a unique crafting item because we're able to place it down like a player head in our world. But the breeze rod, not as much. Or at least it wouldn't be unless we did something like this. Since by having a light blue stained glass right underneath our heavy core, it just looks like we placed our mace right down in the world. A simple build hack, but one that fits really well for the new update. In the past, we've shown off this build hack to make a simple looking stovetop inside of your kitchen. And while that still looks great in the newer updates, I think what we can see here in this user's post makes it look even better with adding in the copper trapdoors. For one, they cross over the hopper part of the minecart texture in such a way where it actually looks like a gas burner on a stovetop. And then by adding in some campfire smoke underneath to give that illusion of the particle effects, I think this ends up working just great in any kitchen you put it in. And considering we're not getting the frying pan from the April Fool's potato update anytime soon, I think this is more than fine to use if you want to. Back in the snapshots where we were still able to use our Mace's Windburst enchantment from standing, we could use an armor stand like this example to launch ourselves up multiple times, and then chain that right into a kill for PvP. And while the mace is still clearly useful for PvP even without this feature, it's a shame that armor stands are not nearly as much. I would have loved to still see this as an option, but I get why Mojang nerfed it. With the new update, we've now got new potion effects as well. And unfortunately for the game's balancing, but fortunate for our Fortune 3, this update seems to have completely ruined how we're able to get experience. Since with the splash potion of Infestation, that'll make it so that any mob that gets infested will give off silverfish. Sounds like a bad time, right? But by using these Infestation potions on allays that are constantly taking damage, that'll allow us to generate an absurd amount of silverfish. And because allays are a mob that are defined by their uniquely fast regen rate, they'll never die from that damage source, meaning that as long as they're infested, they're giving off an absolute mountain of silverfish. And as you can quickly see from Simply Sark's example, the experience you can get from this is quickly out of hand. And while it might be something that gets patched later on, I'd say that's all the more reason to get your enchants fast. The new trial chambers seem like a giant thing to explore when you're inside of them, but how big do they look on the outside? Well, as you can see from this user, we actually got an answer for that. And by using command blocks to clear out this cubic area, we can see the actual scope of what we got going on here. And I thought the trial ruins from the last update are already bigger than we thought. So looking at this here, it's pretty spectacular, and I can only imagine the excitement of running into one of these while you're branch mining. I mean, at the very least, you're not gonna have to go look for more copper. With the recent scale attribute command, we're able to change our size to as small as 0.0625 times what it was. And with that, this user had the great idea of making a mini parkour course that we could do at our small scale. And now, what used to be simple jumps and gaps for us when we were regular sized, become almost impossible feats at this small scale. And being able to run through things like gaps and stairs is particularly funny to me. Or having to land a neo jump while you're basically landing into half a block's worth of space. I don't think I could land one of those jumps if you gave me all the space in the world. But for an idea in a new parkour map, I think this is just asking to get used. And even better is that we could also scale ourselves up the other way. Make an entire giant parkour course where you're jumping from skyscrapers. Both of them will be great to see. You might not expect it, but we're actually able to place down the heavy core that we find inside of the trial chambers, much in the same way that we're able to place mob heads in our world. And it's using that feature that you'll notice that when we place this on top of a wall, it fits perfectly in that space, giving us a great way to top our walls and decorate what would have just been any other shrine. And especially because of how well this blends in with the new tough walls that were added in this update too, I think that's all the more reason to experiment around with this. While we still don't have any copper fence blocks to play around with, what we do have, as Sad Milkman shows off, is the ability to set back our copper grates like this, and then when placed in such a way, it looks as if we have copper fence that's linking between these copper pillars. And as long as you make sure that people only see it from this angle, then you should be good. You can even add in some copper lightning rods on top of this, and ensure that if you ever get a lightning storm, at least all your copper's not gonna oxidize. While figuring out how to get certain recipes into the crafter is a bit tough, considering you have to put them all in the right order, it's using one of these for storage blocks that it gets a lot easier. For one, things like turning iron ingots into an iron block doesn't have an order. All you need to know is just that 9 ingots go into one block. And so by adding one of these to your farm, you can quickly store all of your output so much easier. And now your iron farm storage looks like this instead of this. And particularly for gold farms, this is great. We can turn our nuggets into ingots and then our ingots into blocks. Or even have your skeleton farms output their bones into bone meal and then bone meal into bone blocks. Really, there's so many different uses for this that it's going to become a staple in every farm design that you see from here on out. Why wouldn't you just craft this instead of having to have 9 times the storage? It just makes so much sense. Now that we've got all these new paintings to play around with, it can be easy to forget our old ones. But I'd ask you to not do that just yet, since by just putting some of these paintings side by side, you can notice that these blend particularly well together. And I for one love the idea of just having our paintings slowly branch out with every new one that they add. I mean, clearly gradients in Minecraft building are already great, so having the option to do this with the paintings in game, that's particularly special in my eyes. But also make sure that you have a good enough space in your build to be able to try this out, because having 6 blocks of horizontal space to show this off, that's asking quite a bit in Minecraft economics. But if you got a mega base, this will fit in just perfectly. During the initial snapshots for the crafter, Mojang had originally made it so that this block had no cooldown when being powered, which might not sound like a big deal, but you only have to look at this example from the technical Minecraft subreddit to see that it was quickly overpowered. I mean, with a fast enough clock, you could quite literally make yourself a shower of these things. And while I admit that would have been awesome for compacting stuff in our iron farms, it was not what Mojang was intending for the block. And so in snapshot 23W46A, they would then change it to have the same delay as dispensers. Just how many different combinations of wolves can we tame? And while that question was posed to originally be 55,296 by Stevenin, it was down in the comments that other users pointed out that you actually have to factor in that there's 9 different wolf variants, 16 different dye colors for collars, over 5.7 million armor colors, 4 visible durability stages for that wolf armor to be broken, and then double the number of variants by having the wolf be upside down or right side up, whether it's named Dinnerbone or not, and that would get you to 6,581,880,576 wolves. But then when you factor in just how many different tail stages there are for the wolves depending on where their health's at, that takes us all the way over 59 billion different wolf variants. So I wouldn't expect anyone to go out and tame them all for that. It's hard enough just to get the whole pack advancement, let alone do all of this. Now obviously the crafter block is useful for, well, crafting, but it also has some great applications if you were to put this into your builds. And particularly what this user did inside of their kitchen is something that I love. Since if you look at the side of the texture for the crafter, you see that we can use the directionality of the block and make this handle look a lot more like the handle of a cabinet. And not only does that look great on your walls, but you can also place a 2x2 of these on your floor, add a carpet over top, and now you've got something of a kitchen island inside of your kitchen too. Which is good that these are easy to build with, because figuring out how to use them naturally is a little tough. stuff. Not only do we have new armor trims to play around with, but we've also got new banner patterns. And once you've settled on all the different layers of banner patterns that you want to use, you can then take those custom banners, add them to the back of a trapdoor like this, and then finally with an armor stand tucked into place, it looks as if you got yourself an easel for an art class. And really what I love most about this original example is just the fact that they actually have a pineapple that they're drawing inside of the middle table. That's just too perfect. And with all the different designs that you can make for banner patterns, such as many of the ones that we've shown off in this video, there's a whole bunch of still life subjects to choose from. Pick your favorite and get ready to enroll in class. The common build hack in the past was using all of these trapdoors to make something of a trap to catch rabbits inside of. And today we'll see that by switching out those spruce trapdoors for ones of the copper variety, we no longer have a trap, we instead have a crate for our pets. And come on, with all the new wolves that we've gotten in the Armored Paws update, I think they also need something new to hang out in. Just also make sure that you sit them down inside of the crate. Otherwise, if they're not properly crate trained, they're just gonna teleport out like wolves do. Though I can't say I blame them. I also don't like to be trapped in small spaces. Since Minecraft's a game of cubes, of course everyone's gonna freak out when there's a new circle that's added into the game. And whether that's the shadows that we see underneath our feet, or the kind of command block trickery that's done by someone like Mysticat, there's now a new contender to throw into the ring. And as user Breakcheek shows off, by using the different orientations of the crafters, we're able to line up their textures just right and get ourselves a new circle inside of Minecraft. I mean, it kind of looks like a stovetop, and I think that's just lovely. You ever walked into a villager's house and thought they were really overdoing it just for a blast furnace? I mean, all of this decoration around it, that just seems excessive. And while I can't say that this solves it, I will say that we can add in one of our own. And so, by taking after this example to have our furnace on top of a crafter, then that lower crafter block looks like an oven. And if you got creative, probably using something like a debug stick would be the easiest way to do this. But when you blend it in with the stone bricks around the other sides of our furnace, the top and bottom parts of the crafter texture blend really well with the surrounding blocks. And honestly, even if you just put the blast furnace on top of something like this, it'd at least make a lot more sense for what you got all around it. At least then it's 2 usable blocks instead of just 1. With the new potion effects that we're able to brew, one of the most interesting ones is the potion of Oozing, which means that when you kill a mob, it'll summon a slime where it dies. And then by using a piercing and multi-shot crossbow, we can constantly reuse that one oozing arrow, giving us potentially infinite slimes without ever needing to find a slime chunk. And speaking as someone who always hated having to use another mod like Mini HUD or putting it into chunk base, I like this solution a lot more. And hey, it also gives me a use for the crossbow, which I've never particularly given any mind to up until now. With the help of commands, it's possible to make fully functional armadillo soccer in Minecraft. All we gotta use is a command so that the armadillo is permanently stayed rolled up. And then at that point, when you run into it like this, as user stably shows off on Reddit, we can sure enough play soccer right in the game itself. And honestly, this puts in perspective just how far we're able to bend it like Beckham with one of these things. And if you're wondering what commands to do for this, then the original user also has that for us in a handy comment that you can see on screen. And also down in the comments, it's worth mentioning this great quote: "He scoots, he scores." Yeah, I didn't know where else that was gonna fit in the video, I just had to say it once I read it. The copper golem was never added to Minecraft, and while that's definitely an unfortunate circumstance, if you look at a build like this, you'd think that it was added in the most recent update. Since here we've got a great design for a dismantled copper golem. And while I think it looks great to use a carved pumpkin and some roots underneath it like this example, the option to use a chain underneath and then the copper bulb up top also looks particularly good in my opinion. The new copper grate block offers up some great build hack potential, and we've even shown that off in the past for our autumn leaves. But what we neglected there was showing off the exposed copper grate. I mean, let's be honest, the combination between orange and green isn't always the prettiest. Though when you tuck it inside of a brick floor like this, as user Inexister shows off here, it works particularly well. And now we've got drainage in your floor. And I think brick floors already go underutilized in Minecraft, so if this gives an excuse to make one, I think it's well worth it. It looks great. Ah? With the wind charge potion, we're able to make it so that when you kill a mob, it gives off a burst of air. And so, taking that to its logical extreme, what Twisty Master did here is when you give a wind charge potion to a whole bunch of chickens in a 2x2 like this, then by using Sweeping Edge, we're able to use all of those chicken sacrifices to launch ourselves up to 2,000 blocks in the sky. But forget energy cramming, wind charge cramming is definitely the new strat. I mean, if you don't have any qualms about killing this many chickens anyway, it might be worth it. By enchanting your mace with the wind charge enchantment, then all it takes is giving yourself an elytra, and we're able to put together some really cool elytra flight courses. And this example here of using iron golems that are precariously on top of iron bars is particularly funny to me. But hey, they take barely any knockback if that, so they'll be there for multiple attempts on the course. And I think partnering this with some kind of command block system which gives you a point if you go through the rings, you can quickly see where a bunch of creators are gonna go about and make this into minigames. And honestly, I can't wait to see it. Minecraft recently got a whole bunch of new paintings to play around with. And while a lot of those look great by themselves, it'll be taken after this user's advice that we can spice them up a bit. Since here, with just a couple of stairs facing in different directions, they were able to make a perfect painting frame for the new painting. And considering a lot of the paintings are also really big, I think this does a great job of showing them off at scale. I mean, with this one that we have in this example, it almost looks like a window. And if you really wanted to, you could also make this into a secret entrance like we've shown off in the past. Really, plenty of possibilities for a pretty simple build hack. Now that we've seen what happens when a bunch of mobs are wind charged, there's a different question to answer. What happens if there's a bunch of wind charges? And user Asto8 has the answer for us. Since by using a repeating command block to summon in a bunch of wind charges with no direction above this command block, then as soon as we merge it so that they actually have a direction with this command here, the combined force of all of those wind charges will shoot us right up out of render distance. So I hope you have an elytra. Otherwise, this would have just been Team Rocket blasting off again. It's no surprise that if you look at the front of the crafter, it's very intentionally supposed to look like a face. I mean, you could even look at Minecraft's concept art and see that this was intentional. And so given that, it was only a matter of time before some people in the community decided that we could make a little robot out of this thing. And this example by Theo Tries does it particularly well. Here, mixing it together with armor stance, not just for the little hat on top, but also for the limbs that stick out of it, looks great. It reminds me of an enemy from Kirby, if anything. And I think the fact that both the armor stand and the crafter use some kind of oak plank texture inside of them sells this illusion even better. And while it might be a pain getting all the armor stands to line up to build this, I mean, look at this part of the post to see just that. But if you're willing to go through the effort, then the results clearly pay off. And with all those new paintings that we have to play around with, we can take this older build hack and give it a new twist. Since while I love what this user did here to use the paintings as fake interiors, I mean, come on, it's simple math. More paintings equals more interiors. And what I will know that they did here particularly well is spacing out the painting from the actual window so that there's a lot more depth when you're looking at the build. Especially when someone's looking up at the top windows from the ground floor, it blends in particularly nicely, as opposed to just being yet another flat painting that you place too close to a window. With just a Riptide Trident and a mace, you have all that you need to do the most damage in a single attack in Minecraft. Simply take your Riptide 3 Trident, launch up into the stars, and then with your elytra wings on your back, you're able to turn all that speed into a whole lot of damage on that Warden. Which, to put that in perspective, the Warden has 500 health in the game. But just like that, we're able to turn all of our fall damage into damage on that Warden's head, and best yet, take none of it ourselves. It's just a shame we don't have this much flying room inside of the ancient cities. I've unfortunately found that out firsthand. As Crafty Masterman shows off here, with that same ability to trigger redstone with our wind charges, we're able to make a 4x4 piston door that's completely powered by wind charge wireless redstone. Granted, it's gonna be a bit loud and definitely give off a lot of particles, but to see this be possible is just so cool. But being able to have the full system retract and extend using exclusively wind charges and dispensers, that's the kind of ingenuity I always love to see from Minecraft. If you look at some of the more weathered variations of the copper blocks, you'll notice they work particularly well with bricks. And with that, we can take after this example and merge them into our walls to have a perfect looking window design inside of your brick house. Or if you want to, let it get fully oxidized and then you can just tuck it into your wooden builds like this. And while it is going to take an upfront cost of copper to get this going instead of just smelting up some sand, I think when the results look like this, it's worth considering for sure. With the advent of the trial chambers, Mojang also added in the mob for the breeze. But while these things are pretty annoying, they're not exactly challenging to fight. And as you can see from this example, it's simple enough just to kill one of these using only your fist. I mean, sure, it might run away and protest, but as long as you're able to chase after it, you can just as simply punch one of these to death with nothing else in your hand. And so you can only imagine just how much faster this would go for using something like a sword. But hey, as the comments point out, maybe it was intentional. I mean, it makes the fight a breeze. Sorry. Armadillos are one of the many recent cute additions that we've gotten to Minecraft. Although while their final texture is cute, the original one might have had a dark secret. Since as you can see, the original Armadillo texture when it was shown off had the eyes of the Armadillo front-facing instead of on the sides, which, as many in the community have pointed out, would have actually indicated that the Armadillos were predators instead of prey. And while it's obviously a lot cuter to have these eyes on the side of their head, when it's also true that the Armadillo feasts on spider eyes, I don't know if we can say it's entirely innocent either. Hey, at least it's not our eyes. Ever since 1.21, Tuff blocks are gonna get a lot more love in the building community. And when they look like this, I say rightfully so. And I especially love this example that Hey Joe Hey built, where we can almost blend together the textures of the different Tuff blocks, and using that make a gradient into our pillars. I mean, if you ask me, this is the best advertisement for the stone cutter I've seen. And so if you're already gonna get plenty of these blocks if you go and excavate through your local trial chamber, this is maybe the easiest way to start using it inside of your building world. And speaking as someone who loves to use dark gray inside of my palette, I plan to tuck these anywhere that I can. But taking after what Falcon Punch 100 did in this post, using the stairs and other slabs to make it look as if they're broken pillars inside of an ancient temple, that's just too good to pass up on. Perhaps the scariest of the new features in Minecraft, and I will have to give a warning here, is when you use the scale attribute command to make spiders down to the regular size of actual spiders. And considering they move just as fast when you scale them down, this really is a horrifying sight. I'm not even someone with arachnophobia, and this makes me unsettled. It's funny, I would have always thought that a giant spider would be scarier than smaller ones, and I suppose in real life that would be true, but seeing just how many can fit inside of a small area like this, and most specifically how high they can jump, I really wouldn't want to set this scale command unless I was making a horror map. And while we're able to use our mace to one-shot the warden, that's not technically true for all mobs. Yes, there is a mob that's stronger than the warden. As Forceivit showed off on Twitter, with the way that Wolf Armor works, if we were to launch up and do that same amount of damage to our wolf, the Wolf Armor instead tanks all of the damage before it cracks. Meaning our wolf basically has a totem of undying. So is it stronger than the warden? Not necessarily. I wouldn't count us as stronger than the warden because we can hold a totem of undying, but it also doesn't die to this in one shot, and that alone is pretty special. And with that, folks, YouTube thinks that you might like this video, so see if they're right and have a good one, alright?